We all know the eyes are the window of the soul, but did you also know they're the window to health? My name is Gillian Marsollier. I'm a registered acupuncturist and a certified iridologist and certified iridology instructor. I want to do an iridology reading for you guys today from a patient of mine to show you how much you can actually garner off of the eye. First of all, what is iridology? It's a very confusing science out there to a lot of people, so let's get very clear of what it is. Iridology is the reading of the iris color and fibers to find out genetic disposition of the patient and also to find out any tendencies they may have in certain structure and tissue of the organs. That's as far as we go. We are not a Western medical science, as in we do not diagnose from the eye a Western medical disease. If you see an iridologist and they tell you that you have Crohn's disease or cancer or something like that, we can't tell that. So that's not what we're looking at. We're looking at what can we do for the body to prevent? Where are your imbalances? Because everyone has some. Where are your strengths? Because everyone has that too. And learning about your own body so you can learn the best diet and lifestyle for you. The eye has 28,000 nerve endings that end up in the iris. And parts of the eye are also made up of neuroectoderm, which is the same tissue that the spinal cord and the brain is made of. So you can see that there's a great innervation from the whole body to the eye. So this is a reason that you see the imprinting of different colors and markers in the eye to show different imbalances in the body, or tendencies as we prefer to call them. When you do an iridology reading, it does not mean that the patient has that sign at this present moment in time. It just means there's a tendency there and we need to treat the body accordingly. So let's go right to a reading and have a look at this patient here, and I can tell you all about what her tendencies are, and I'll tell you her health history, and I'll also tell you the diet and lifestyle advice I gave to her. Here we have a 37-year-old, busy, active career woman. The first thing we're going to look at is the color of the eye. This eye color is called biliary, which means mixed eye. So you can see if you look underneath these slightly brown fibers, you'll see a bit of a blue, gray, green underneath. So it's not a true brown eye, even though from a distance this girl looks like she has brown eyes. So a mixed eye has a tendency towards liver imbalance, liver toxicity. So that's really their Achilles heel, is that they need to clean their liver at a regular basis. So right off the bat, I know that most likely she's going to have some liver toxicity issues in her body. The next thing we're going to look at is how close the fibers are together. This is a neurogenic eye, which means the fibers are very tight and close together. There's a few rarifications all over the place, which is a wavy opening of fibers, which show a very slight tendency to weakness in that area, but it's very mild for this person. Neurogenic is a great eye to have. It's the strongest constitution in some ways, in that this person can really give her. This person has a lot of energy. But the big downfall to a neurogenic eye is they'll use that energy and they will burn themselves out. So it's very important for someone with a neurogenic eye to take about 4 times a day, 5-minute breaks of quiet. This will completely reset their nervous system, and it's unbelievable. Okay, let's start from the inside out of actually reading the eye. The pupil represents the central nervous system. The pupil is a pretty good size for this patient. You can see on the side here, this is a lateral flattening. The reason I know that's the side and not the medial portion is that this is the left eye, because the pupil is always going to point slightly towards the inner canthus and nose area. So because the pupil's pointing slightly that way, I know that it's the patient's left eye, and we always read the patient's left or right. So there's a lateral called lateral temporal flattening. It's on that side of the eye. This is the area of T1 to 4, T6 to 7 in the back. And so this would show a possible injury or weakness in the area, perhaps even some shoulder or arm weakness. And absolutely this patient has a lot of left-sided shoulder problems. She figures from a car accident a long time ago on the right side, but where all the pain is on the left. So that matches exactly. She actually has numbness and tingling occasionally going through her left shoulder down to her pinky. Okay, let's go out from there. Out from there, we have what's called the pupillary sphincter. You can see it looks a little bit like an egg splattered on the eye. Now you can see this is the stroma, or the fibers here are slightly open. This is the stomach and intestinal zone in here. When they're slightly open, it means that there's a little bit of a weakened digestion. And also, this patient has a central heterochromia, which means that the whole inside digestive area here, it has a different color to it, and in this case it's a dark brown in some parts, but it's a bit of a brown orange. Brown in iridology indicates the liver needs some help. Orange in iridology indicates that the pancreas needs some help, and so this person I would guess would have some tendencies towards digestive issues and needs some help with blood sugar levels because the pancreas, and also needs some help cleaning the liver. And lo and behold, that is the reason she came in, was for a lot of bloating issues, a lot of food sensitivities, and a lot of skin problems. So we'll talk more about that. So I can see that we need to do some cleaning of the liver, and we need to take some sugars. We need to take sugar out of the diet and regulate with some proper sugars because the pancreas isn't doing so hot on its own. And a very good idea for this patient would be some digestive enzymes while we work to nurture and tonify the digestion back to health. Okay, the next part we'll look at is the collarette, which is this little line here, kind of, again, egg-shaped going around. That's the autonomic nervous system, or the intestines. The autonomic nervous system, I always say, is that nervous system that is responsible for things you don't have to think about, like peristalsis, which is the squeezing of the bowels, or breathing, these kind of things. So this will tell us about the tone of the bowel. The collarette should be about 1/3 of the way out from the middle of the eye to the periphery of the eye. And you can see that it's much tighter than that. It looks like maybe only 1/5 of the way out. So right away, I know that this is most likely a bit of a introverted person, really feels things inside, deals with everything on the inside, holds emotion, and most likely holds tight her bowels. And so I would think there'd be some constipation issues here, but due to a holding and a tightening. And this is absolutely true in this case, is when this patient is stressed, she gets constipation, and she has to do a lot of breathing exercises in order to open her bowel and have a regular bowel movement. One thing to note here is there's a little opening right here which shows there may be a family history. This is in the sigmoid colon, the sigmoid flexure that goes down to the rectum. That's what that area is. And so this little opening here will show tendencies from the family to have bowel issues. And I guess on her father's side that there is a lot of bowel issues and diverticulitis and things like that. So we know that we need to early on take care of this woman's bowels. Let me quickly explain the eye here. Every part of the eye represents a different part of the body. We have the kidney and lower part of the body here, kidney, bladder, genitals. We have the brain up here. This is the left part of the body. So we're going to have the heart up here, and we're going to have lung and throat over here. So you need some mapping to have a good look at a chart overlay to see exactly what is where. All right, another thing we have here is some congested sinuses. This part up here represents the sinuses. You can see that it's a dark brown color. What this means is that the liver, because I said earlier, the liver has to do with dark brown colors in the eye. So the liver really needs to be cleaned out. This means if it's coming off the digestive system, that it's a digestive issue with sinuses, and this is the case for this person when she has a lot of dairy or wheat, or any mucousy foods. Immediately her sinuses get congested, and apparently there's quite a history of sinus infections from the late teen years in this patient. Okay, while we're here, you can see that there's these little kind of browny orange spokes coming out all over the place. These are called radii solaris. What this means is that there's digestive issue. The color means a lot, and they're kind of a brown orange, so it's this liver and this pancreatic issue. So where they are reaching to means it may be affecting that area. This is really the whole brain area. For the most part, that's where it's reaching for her. So up it goes into the brain, and so any digestive toxicity is going to affect her thinking. And again, this is what she tells me, is that when she eats food she cannot eat or has alcohol, it has a very muddled brain and cannot think clearly, cannot be creative of these kind of things. So as you can see, we knew right off the bat with a biliary eye that the liver would be the most important thing to keep very, very clean in order to have optimal health. She apparently did a lot of drinking, some drugs when she was younger, and had a lot of poor food choices in her younger years, and this could be the reason that the cleaning out needs to happen now. There's a strong tendency towards it.